Dateline, Dade City, Florida. The sales folks have a lot of downtime these days at Jarrett Ford Lincoln Mercury. It's typical for a small-town car dealership during a severe economic slump. What's unusual is how some workers are passing the time. Now they're passing the time? In the center of the used car sales manager office door is a wood stain about 3 feet tall. Some look at it and swear it's Jesus. Chip Davis, who runs a paintless dent removal service that services Jarrett, immediately noticed the anomaly and identified it as the central figure of Christianity. Here's what he said. Sometimes it gets so crazy that faith is all you've got left. Anybody who's seen pictures of the burial cloth, an image of Christ that's on that cloth, that same image is on the door. Davis attends Cypress Meadows Community Church in Clearwater, Florida. Davis snapped a photo of the door and placed it on his Facebook page. He also sent a copy to the St. Petersburg Times. He said, "I recognized it as soon as I saw it." Carlos Castro, who has been at the dealership for 16 years, said, "Some customers have taken notice." He said, "People come in and stop and look. A couple of them will do the sign of the cross." Castro recalled the discoloration on the front of the Ugly Duckling car rental building in Clearwater that drew worshipers who said it was the Virgin Mary. He said, "It's not as defined as that one." Ruth Johnson at the receptionist desk said, "It looks a little bit like Sasquatch." James Bauman Jr., who was getting an oil change, described it as Christ in a Jedi outfit, then as a Persian king. He then said there was probably significance in the stain, just as there is in Barack Obama being president and Israel's conflict with Hamas. "I believe the rapture is just around the corner," he said. "They always say that." Johnson studied the stain a bit more and said it looked like a caveman. "We did say at one time it looked like Jesus," she said. Darrell Collins, who occupies the office with the stained door, said Davis had pointed the stain out to him, but he really didn't think much of it. Collins, 42, said, "I guess everybody has their own outlook on it. It depends on what religion you're from." Collins, who was raised a Baptist, said he's not real big on religion, but called the door, quote, "pretty neat." He said, "I'm not swapping doors with anybody, I can tell you that." The son of a carpenter, ooh, there's the connection. Collins said he had never seen anything like it. However, he knows wood has a mind of its own. He said, wood will stain differently in different places when the same stain is applied to it. The story goes on. Anyway, so if you want to see Jesus, head to Florida. Go to Dade City, Florida, to Jarrett Ford Lincoln Mercury. Jesus is right there on the door of the used car sales manager's office. Maybe a reminder to be a little more honest if you're a car dealer, huh? Jesus came in to give a message. Every time they're telling people, "I'll have to go to my manager with that," they have to come in and they have to look at an image of Jesus on the door. Oh, come on. These people who see Jesus, and I've said this so many times and it just keeps happening, in the stain on a wooden door at a car dealership or at an Ugly Duckling or rental car place. They see them in grease stains left by potato chips. They see them on the side of water towers. I mean, you got to be kidding me. It's outrageous. It's been a long time. We haven't done it in many, many months now, and many of you have been asking for it. So it's time for another edition of Ask the Atheist. Now, as you know, I am your in-house atheist. Maybe you've never met an atheist. Maybe you think you've never met an atheist, but I indeed am one. Have been for all my life. I've been an atheist since before I knew there was a word to describe what I am. I just never believed any of the fairy tales. Never believed them. I am not here to proselytize. I'm not here to convince you I'm right. We have freedom of religion in this country, and I think that's fantabulous. You have the right to believe any harebrained story you hear. It's fine. Fine with me, and I won't try to talk you out of it either. But many of you, obviously, because you are such blind believers, many of you have questions for people like me. You wonder how somebody like me could not believe your fairy tale, your particular story. Your particular story explaining things that men do not understand, have not figured out yet. You have to have a story. Men have to have an explanation for everything. So they have to have a story. They have to create a fairy tale to explain how life began. Does it really matter? Why do we care? Well, if you do, your little fairy tale is a rationalization, is the way I see it. I don't care which one you believe. I don't care if you believe in God, Buddha, Satan, Jehovah, call them what you will, Yahweh. It's all the same to me. It's all the same to me. So I am your house atheist, and if you've ever wanted to ask a question of a bona fide atheist, now here is your chance.
Forgive me, Father, for I will sin.
I believe right now Jesus is touching you, and he's speaking to you deep inside your heart, and he's saying, I want to heal you. I want to help you.
God gives you the ability to get out of poverty. God is my witness. I look at myself in the mirror, you've heard me say it, and I just preach to myself. God. I mean, I speak in tongues, and I prophesy, and then I interpret, and I give an offering.
In Jesus' name, I pray.
I give it up to God. I'm a God warrior.
We must come to Jesus with a humble attitude. We must acknowledge that he can, and then we must have a revelation that God wants to touch you, and he wants to heal you.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show. 97.1 FM Talk.
It's the Tom Leykis Show. Ah, yes, with shorter commercial breaks, fewer commercials, and more telephone calls than we've ever taken before. It's Ask the Atheist. At 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. James on the Tom Leykis Show. It's Ask the Atheist. I'm the Atheist. Hello.
Man, what's up, Tom?
Not much.
I'm trying to question your atheism here. I don't think you're a real atheist.
Why would that be?
Well, you see, I wrote it down the day you said this on about January 21st, about 4 o'clock. You started off a sentence by saying, Lord only knows. And I'm an atheist. Yes. And when I heard that, I started laughing.
Well, let me explain to you, sir. I've been to the supermarket and I asked if they had any Peter Pan. And they said yes. So I said Peter Pan to several people. Do you think I believe in Peter Pan? I also, one time, sang along when a group of people were singing Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Do you think I believe in Santa Claus? I read a book called Moby Dick. Do you think I believe there's a whale named Moby Dick? Thank you for your call. 1-800-5800-TOM. Setting them up and knocking them down. Michelle on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. I had a question. I just wanted to know if there was something in your life that made you realize, oh, this is why I don't believe, or if it's something you just always knew that you didn't believe, or just what about, when did you kind of know I'm an atheist?
I've always known it. That's what I said earlier. There was no event. I think it's the other way around. What caused you to believe? Most people who say they believe in God, when you quiz them about it, when you probe them, you find out that the reason is because their parents shoved this belief down their throat when they were kids, forced them to go to classes, told them, we're Mormons, so you're a Mormon. And it's not because they had some kind of epiphany.
Right. Well, I'm agnostic, but I I was raised Jewish, and I do understand what you're saying because it was definitely forced down my throat. Went to Jewish school, and I kind of moved away from that. I kind of didn't really like that feeling of living in a bubble and believing what you're told to believe. But but I still have the feeling of like, okay, I acknowledge some form of magical mystery in the world or in the universe. I just don't feel like I can label it as this is correct and this is not, and that kind of thing. So so at least but you don't even believe that, right? You don't even believe that there's something.
No.
Okay. Another thing is I wanted to know if you think that because of the economic crisis that we're having right now, if you believed that people are going to turn more to religion or more to some kind of mystery of the universe or whatever, just because because during hard times they might want to hold on to something, or is that your experience? Do you believe that?
I don't believe any of this stuff. For me, why do we need to hold on? We are born and we're going to die.
Right.
That's it. Mm-hmm. I do not believe in a soul. I do not believe that something's going to burn in hell or rise up to the clouds. I just don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't. So why be a hypocrite about it? Right.
Yeah, well, I absolutely, and I could definitely see where you're coming from. It's kind of bold, to take that stance because, where you're coming from, it's like, okay, this is it, and when we're gone, we're gone. There's nothing else.
Yes, and why would you have the ego to believe that you're going to be here any longer than the time you have?
Right.
Who are you? Who is anybody?
Right.
You're born, you live, you die.
Yeah.
Where do you get this idea that somehow you're going to live on after you live?
So what do you think happens to you afterward? Nothing?
Worm food.
Wow. That's kind of scary, though, right?
No, it's not. I'll be dead and I won't know the difference.
Right. Well, yeah, that's one way to look at it.
Well, that's what happens to all organic matter. If you look at it, turns to worm food.
Oh.
Turns to soil so new things can grow. That's all it is.
Wow.
What's so scary about that?
Wow. Thank you for that, Tom. I appreciate
Wait, you haven't answered my question, and this is my final question. What is so scary about that?
Well, okay, I guess what frightens me about that is, just the
Did you have a party? Did you have a party to attend in the 22nd century, and now you're afraid you won't be able to make it?
No, it just feels like, you could go at any time, and then
you
after
could.
That's it.
That's right, and that is why you must treasure every day you have. Enjoy it to the fullest.
Yeah.
That's what you must do.
I got you, Tom. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Brian on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
I just had a quick question. Which do you think came first, the chicken or the egg? Since you're an atheist. I mean...
I have no idea. Do you?
I think it had to be the chicken because you need something to sit on the egg to get it warm to be able for it to...
Yeah, but you don't know. And that's the thing. We will never know. And the Bible doesn't even tell you that.
True. That's all I had for you, man. Just a quick question. So you take me out with a bong rip?
Of course I can. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Let's say hello here to Juan on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Dad.
Son, how are you?
Pretty good. Long-time listener, man. You keep me company 1.5 hours all the way to the high desert in Palm Springs.
Love that.
I just like to say, you're one of my idols, man. If it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would do. My question is, quite simply, when you say the Pledge of Allegiance, do you just skip the word God?
I don't say the Pledge of Allegiance, number one, because I'm not a fifth-grade student, and number two, because if they are going to insert the word God into the Pledge of Allegiance, I can't take the Pledge of Allegiance and have it be a pledge. It would not be honest. I don't believe what the Pledge of Allegiance says.
That's why you continue to be my dad, man. You just say how it has got to be said. I'd like to thank you about yesterday's comment regarding the legal immigration thing. I'm one of them. And if it wasn't for people like you, our voice would never be heard. Thank you again.
Juan, thank you. Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. It's Jeff on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom Leykis, how you doing?
Doing great.
All right. For the most part, our nation is based on Christian principles. It's like a Christian nation for the most part.
Really? All right, so let's go down the list. Our Christian nation. Are you African-American, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in our Christian nation, we began our nation, our Christian nation, with slavery. So Jesus, I imagine, was in favor of that?
Oh, I definitely think religion is being used for evil and for control and money.
Well, you just said it's a Christian nation.
Well, my question is the law.
Did you just say that?
Yes, definitely.
All right, so tell me how slavery is Christian.
Slavery is not Christian.
Well, you just said it's a Christian nation.
No, I believe that this Christianity is being used to manipulate people.
All right, let's go to another one. How about killing the Indians, okay?
Oh, definitely not Christian. No way.
Oh, that wasn't Christian either. How about when they said that black people were 3/5 human?
That was dehumanizing, absolutely.
Well, you just said it's a Christian nation.
Well, I'm talking about the laws that we started. You know, thou shalt not.
These are the laws we started with.
But I want my question to you.
Do you know when this country started? Do you know when this country started? Only people who owned land could vote.
Right. I've been waiting for this topic because I just want to ask you this one question. I just want to get it out, Tom. If it was your world, how would your laws, what would you base your laws on? Because a lot of our laws are based on, the Bible.
But they're not. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is false.
I see.
Because genocide, slavery, dehumanizing people is not Christian, is it?
No way.
Then stop saying that it's a Christian nation.
Well, it's just like the Europeans who left, they wanted to be able to practice Christianity the way they chose.
No, they wanted to be able to practice any religion. It was freedom of religion, not freedom of Christianity.
But everything was pretty much based by the Bible. We're talking about white Europeans.
Again. Wait a minute. So you're saying the Bible is white?
No, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this nation was started by white Europeans who were, we're talking about the Vatican. And
that's my point. That's why I'm telling you it was not Christian.
So what about your laws? What about your laws? Would you have a law? What would be your
I'd have a lot less laws, for one, and my laws would be based on not interfering with the rights of others. In other words, to treat others as I wish to be treated, period. No slavery, no genocide, no dehumanizing individuals, no telling women they don't have the right to vote. These were all things that were done when this country was begun.
Absolutely.
It was founded upon genocide, slavery, rape, dehumanizing individuals, racism. If you think those are Christian principles, then fine, it's a Christian nation.
Well, look, can you take me out Bill O'Reilly followed by some type of gunshot?
I certainly can. Here you go.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Ask the Atheist. I am your atheist. Let's say hello here to Joaquin on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
What up, Tom?
Not much.
How you doing, Father? Hey, you're a straight up G, Father. I got one question. I'm an atheist, too. So you're not afraid of dying, am I right, Tom?
I'm not afraid of dying. I do take the precautions necessary so that I don't die prematurely. But am I afraid of dying? No. And the main reason I'm not afraid of dying is because I have made the most of my life. I have done everything I've ever wanted to do.
I bet you have, Father.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. That's like the people. That's like the people who have heart attacks because they're turning 25 or they're turning 30 or they're turning 40. You know, the only people who feel that way are people who haven't done anything with their lives.
Oh, Well, basically, but you know how they always have the religion to back themselves up after dying, you know, they always want to reassure themselves where they're going to heaven and, you know, St. Peter's going to...
Well, it's only because their lives here stink, and the only way they can keep getting up in the morning is to convince themselves that in the next life things will be better.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tom. I just want to ask you that question. I love you. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Joaquin, thank you for the call.
Tom. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
It's the Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Ask the Atheist. You asked for it. Here it is. Allie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Allie, yes.
Oh, hi, Tom. Sorry about that.
Sure.
I had a comment and actually a question as well. A comment about the chicken and the egg. In the Bible, it does say that God created all the animals that walk the earth, so that would mean that the chicken came
No,
first.
you're interpreting what it means. It doesn't say anything about the egg.
Well, it doesn't say...
Maybe God, how do you know God didn't create an egg? I mean, please, you don't know.
Well, it said the animals that walk the earth.
It doesn't. Again, that's your interpretation of what's in the Bible. And by the way, the Bible was written by men, not
but inspired
God.
by God.
Oh, that's what they claim. That's like all these movies. They claim they were inspired by real life. So what?
That's a little different because real life is just men. But my question...
Well, that's assuming, but you have to take the word of the person who wrote it that it was inspired by what they say it was inspired by. It could be inspired by their own mental illness or their own delusion that there is a God.
Well, I guess that could be true. But
Right?
my question for you, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier that in your world, if you went, you know, by your rules, that everybody would treat each other the way that they wanted to be treated. So my question is, you know, I haven't listened to your show a whole lot, but every time I do catch it, I know that you seem to promote, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, you seem to promote guys kind of really not caring for women, just using them, and then, you know, like around Valentine's Day or whenever it's convenient or inconvenient for them to be in some kind of a relationship, to get out of the relationship.
Or not to be. I encourage them not to be in relationships. I encourage them to have friends with benefits.
Right, but is that the way that you'd like to be treated? Because I do understand that you've been married before.
Well, by the way, I might tell you, if I have a friend with benefits, I know she has friends with benefits too, other than me.
But that's my question: is why would you get married if that's your philosophy?
I'm not. I'm not married. I was married, but and I learned from my mistake.
A few times, right? But that
I did, but I have said many times on the air, the reason I got married more than once is because my parents were married for 40 years until my dad died. And so I believed that that was the way things were done. And on top of that, I believed when I failed, it was because of my own failure, not because marriage was an outmoded institution. And I finally realize now that I don't need to be married. Don't need it. It may have served a purpose 150 years ago, but it doesn't today. Certainly not for a man.
So, in your opinion, it's okay for your values to change. There's no black or white, and things can just change.
Yes, and I think that's only human. Absolutely.
Right, you're exactly right, though. That is very, very human.
I have a series of core values that don't change. I have other values or other opinions that have changed over the years. And I'm a human being. That's what I am.
I agree. And don't you think that maybe that's part of what's going wrong in our society? Is that everybody thinks there's no black and white. It's just
I don't, because we have a democracy. And we have the right to vote people in and out. And the society decides what's right and wrong, not the Bible.
Right, and that's what's going wrong right now.
No, I don't agree. I don't want any one religion dominating a country or dominating a government.
Oh, I agree with that. I don't think that religion really has... I think religion is man-made. But I also think that if you do just rely on whatever people feel. They're always going to be selfish and always going to be motivated.
And then there are
by what
countries
they
based
want.
on religion where they're constantly killing each other. So the bottom line here is I'm pretty happy with the way my life is going. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And especially what I would not change is to begin believing a fairy tale.
I understand what you're saying. I definitely don't think God is a fairy tale. But
I know you don't. But again, I don't believe in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, Peter Pan, Moby Dick, and Jesus, or any of those fantasies. They're all...
that could change because your values, as you have admitted, they've already changed. So you never know.
No, I'm telling you that that's unlikely to change because I generally only believe what I see.
Pray that does change for you because you do seem like a good guy. And
I'm a good guy who doesn't need to believe that there's a guy with a big white beard up in the clouds like my favorite Martian pointing at things and they move. I just don't believe it. Deciding who's going to win the Super Bowl. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Alan, you're on Ask the Atheist. Hello.
Hey, Tom?
Yes.
I have a quick question for you. Even though you're an atheist, do you believe in the will of life as in the American Indian and or the Chinese version?
Do I believe in what?
The will of life.
What does that mean?
Everything that you do in this life goes on to your next life.
No, I don't believe that. I believe this is the one life you have.
Okay, thanks a lot, bro.
So live it up. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. This is Gordon on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. First time, long time.
Cool.
Question for you. If you were ever in court, what would you do in the case of...
I've been in court. I have been in court. I have been sued. I have been on the witness stand.
What do you do when you have to say the oath on the Bible?
I do not use the Bible. And you do not have to use the Bible, by the way. You can say I'm an atheist, and you don't use the Bible.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep.
Can you take me out?
I would never, ever use the Bible for any purpose unless I needed to roll a joint in a hotel room. That's about it.
Well, thank you very much.
And I've used it for that more than once. I've smoked the New Testament many times. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Let's say hello to David on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hi.
Hi. I had a question for you as far as, don't you believe that faith helps society function better?
No.
I mean, don't you...
On the contrary, I think it gives people an excuse not to work hard or not to do anything. God is like a big Domino's pizza in the sky where people just call in their order and then they wait for it to be delivered.
Well, so you don't believe that you reap the benefits of people of faith?
No.
I mean, all around you, there's people who believe and who follow rules and who go to church on Sunday.
Yes. There are people who believe, for example, that the Jews have a homeland or that Palestine belongs to the Arabs. Or yes, there's plenty of people around and they're busy killing each other as we speak.
Yeah, but as a society, we don't function better, right?
That's what I believe. We do not function better, and many societies are killing each other over religion.
I think there would be a lot more killing if there wasn't any sort of faith.
Why is that?
Well, I personally would not have anything to hold me back from robbing a bank.
Well, yeah, you do. It's called the law. You don't want to go to jail, and that's the main thing that keeps you from doing it.
Well, there's other things that you can do that are unethical and immoral. And those things pretty much, along
plenty of self-declared religionists are dishonest and do commit all kinds of infractions. They steal, they lie, plenty of them.
Well, I disagree. I believe that...
You disagree?
Well, I disagree with your point of view that it doesn't help. I think it does help keep people in line. It keeps people doing the right thing.
I see. So when George W. Bush wants to go into Iraq and start killing people, you're telling me that his faith is keeping peace in the world?
I don't think that has to do with faith. I think that has to do with national security.
I see. And how did killing all these people in Iraq keep us secure? Can you tell us?
Well, Well, on his watch, there was no further attempts on this country.
How did killing people... You didn't answer my question. How did killing people in Iraq accomplish
I just
that?
answered that question.
No, you didn't. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Ask the Atheist. This is Margaret. Hello.
Good to talk to you, Tom. Third-time caller.
Thank you.
Tom, were your parents religious?
Barely. My mother was a Catholic and tried to shove Catholicism down my throat.
Right.
And my father was kind of non-religious because his dad was Jewish and his mom was Catholic.
Oh, so you're part Jewish. I didn't know that. Okay.
No, I'm not part Jewish because to be Jewish, your mother has to be Jewish.
Okay. Also, Tom, what do you believe about people who claim to have near-death experiences?
I think that's as delusional as thinking you're seeing the Virgin Mary on the side of a napkin.
Okay, Tom, thank you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's our telephone number. Selena on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Hi.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you believe in psychics?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that pretty much answers it right then and there. Thank you. I love your show.
Thank you. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's a telephone number. Let's say hello here to Renee on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, what's up, Tom?
Doing okay?
First time, long time.
Thank you.
Hey, Tom, I just wanted to make a quick comment. I believe that you actually carry God with you in your pocket.
No, I don't. I carry dollar bills in my pocket. Those dollar bills have been imprinted with the phrase "In God We Trust" only since the McCarthy era of the 1950s. It was politically motivated. It was not put on there for any other reason except during the time when we were scared to death of communism. They stuck it on the bills. It was a political move. That's all it was, and it proves absolutely nothing.
Okay, I just wanted to make that comment. Have you thought about a takeout Chris Brown style?
No, because guess what? He's innocent till proven guilty, and we don't want to be sued by Chris Brown. So we'll wait and see what happens with this case. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Here is Dick on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
Real quick question. Do you have faith in anything?
Do I have faith in anything? I'm not certainly not dependent upon anything, if that's what you mean.
Well, because you say that you don't believe in anything you can't see, right? And there's plenty of things, and that's what really faith comes down to. Faith is really a belief in something you can't justify through immediate experience. But as Americans, I know this for a fact, we have faith in all sorts of concepts, such as the American dream.
No, I really don't. I think that's a sales pitch. The American dream is a concept that let's face it, some people say they believe in it, but for most people, the American dream means sitting there on your ass and doing nothing. And then hoping you win lotto one day. It is not working hard. By the way, when you work hard, that's not a dream. That's the result of hard work.
Well, let's not use the American dream as an example.
You brought it up.
Broader. Let's say something like honor, or even let's just use honor for example. Do you believe honor or justice can exist? Those are things we can't define very well, but we have faith, and we even make
I believe justice is a goal, but I don't think it exists in reality.
Okay, fair enough, because I was going to use the same logic to try and tell you there's at least probable reason to believe in the existence of God by extension of faith. But if you don't believe in things like that, I guess it's kind of hard to convince you.
No, I think justice is a good goal. It's a good principle. But if you look around you, there isn't a lot of it.
That's very true, but that's to the folly of man, and man makes
well, guess what? Man is what we're stuck with, that we are men, and that's what we have around us.
See, but why not include God? I mean, if God
because
is
there's no such thing.
All good.
Because there's no such thing.
But it's still a good goal to try and live according to
I don't agree. I don't agree that believing in an imaginary maker is a good thing. I don't see the benefit of it.
Then why fight things like justice, though? That's the point.
I don't fight justice. I'm in favor of justice. I just think that justice is a goal rather than a reality.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. The Tom Leykis Show. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
the Tom Leykis Show, coming to you from Hollywood, California. And this is Ask the Atheist at 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. It's Abe on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, yeah, this is Abel. Just want to say the reason
Abel.
you really don't believe in God is because you really haven't studied Jewish history. If you do, you really study it, there's no way you can take God out of it.
Oh, sure I can. Every time I'm having a cheeseburger, maybe a couple of scallops, little Dungeness crab, of course I can.
I mean, just to give you an example, I mean, the prophet Isaiah predicted that the second Jewish temple was not going to be built by the Jews. It was going to be built by a Persian, and his name was King Cyrus. I mean, he predicted it 200 years before it even happened.
How do you know that?
I mean, now you're going back, even scholars who are atheist and secular believe that Isaiah did write the book of Isaiah in the time that he says he is.
But you don't even know if 200 years was 200 years at that time. You don't even know if his prediction was really a prediction.
Okay, I mean, there's plenty of other ones.
None of that is going to convince me that there's a God, period, end of story.
I mean, what about the 7-year sabbatical year where they're supposed to plant in Israel?
Again.
7 years, 6 years to plant and to harvest food, but for 7 years
look, this is the same Jewish scripture that tells you not to eat shellfish and not to eat cheese and meat together.
Yeah, but that's for a totally different reason. The Jewish people do not tell the whole entire world not to eat shellfish. It's only for them not to eat shellfish, and there's
Why not?
a reason for that.
Yeah, what is it?
The reason is because they're bottom feeders, and what they do, they actually have a negative energy to them. I really don't want to get into Judaism.
I've been eating shellfish my whole life. I've been nothing but healthy and successful. So.
No, it has nothing to do with your physical stuff, and I think that's what you're confusing about.
Tell me about shellfish and what that has to do with believing in God.
Well, I mean, it's a spiritual thing. You're never going to...
It's a spiritual thing. That's not an explanation.
In this world.
That's not an explanation. How is eating a cheeseburger going to get me further away from God?
Okay, if you really, really want to know, yeah, you're talking about the milk and dairy, the meat and dairy. The reason is dairy is positive energy. It's giving force. It never spoils. That's what a mother gives to her child.
What does that have to do with eating a cheeseburger?
Right. Well, I'll get to it. Another thing is, too, meat. That's negative energy. That comes from death. You're never supposed to mix negative and positive in the Jewish religion. That's why you can't have linen and cotton, which is a negative, and a positive energy.
Which is the negative, which is the positive? Wait, linen and cotton, which is the negative, which is the positive?
It depends on if it receives. That's why meat is red. Like your red blood cells. Your red blood cells receive. Your white blood cells give. They die. They're positive.
What? This is not science. This is a figment of your imagination. Get out of here.
One thing you don't think. See, the Jewish people are not going to tell everybody what to do. They're not going to knock on your doorstep and tell you to convert.
So there are many Jewish doctors. Let's be frank, okay? Are they going into their office and telling their patients about positive and negative energy?
Well, if they're Orthodox, I'm not talking about your conservative or Reformed.
So if I am going, I work in an office where they've got that big book of doctors who are covered in the health plan. So if I find Dr. Abraham Zimmerman in Beverly Hills and I go in and he's an Orthodox Jew, he's going to start lecturing me about eating cheeseburgers and scallops?
No, that has not. Like I said, that has nothing
to do. Tell me, keep that out of your diet. Positive and negative. What about the positive and negative energy?
You're not supposed to switch those either in anything you do, in any single thing.
What does that mean?
The negative and positive energy.
Who said? Who decided this?
What was that?
Who decided this?
Okay, see, here's the thing. The Jewish people have more than one book. The Torah is just a code. And I don't believe in the literal 7-day.
Oh, so the Jewish religion is like a Chinese menu. You pick one from column A and one from column B.
No, absolutely not. No. Everything's decoded. That whole thing about, the 6 days of creation and he rested on the seventh day, if you go to any Chabad, you know what Chabad is, right?
Yes, I know what Chabad is.
Okay. they're Orthodox Jews, go into them and ask them to explain to you the spiritual significance of the Torah. There's something called the Kabbalah, which decodes everything.
Don't even get me started. Look, this is all just about a lot of hocus pocus, and it's you and Madonna and a few freaks out there. But the bottom line here is that, come on, that not eating milk and meat together is not saving anybody in any way, shape, or form.
Right, but like I said, it's not about the physical.
You know how many bat mitzvahs they're serving sweet and sour pork? Now, let's just tell the truth here.
Has nothing to do with their physicality. Has nothing to do with anything.
So it's okay
physical.
for Jews to eat pork?
No, I don't eat pork.
Why not?
Because my desires that I want to have. I mean, because
you don't desire pork.
Show, but my desires that I want to have, I want to be pure. I mean, it takes a lot of work.
You want to be pure,
right? You know, yeah, of course. I want anytime a poor person
people who
comes
eat
to
pork
me,
are impure.
Anytime a poor person comes to me and asks me for money, I want to give, and I eat positive food, and I just for my strength of my soul. You know, that's funny. You can laugh, but I really want to make this this is a better place, and I feel that any Jewish person or any other person.
And by not eating a Pizza Hut pizza with a stuffed crust and pepperoni, somehow you're getting closer to God.
Yeah, but I'm getting closer. I have more strength to do the right thing and to choose the harder, but you know, the harder path that pays
by
off
eating
more.
marble cake, you're stronger than a guy who eats scallops.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with physical strength. It's just
how are you stronger eating pastrami from a kosher deli than a guy is eating scallops?
Well, let me tell you why. Because in kosher red meat, all the blood is taken out. And
yeah, but the fat isn't taken out. And, you know, let's talk health for a second. When you see that nice, big, fatty piece of pastrami that tastes so good, do you think the person eating pastrami is healthier than the person eating Dungeness crab cakes?
No. Physically, no. I don't think so. But like I said, the kosher meat has no blood in it. And what happens when you eat blood
so
of
what
an
about,
animal,
what about,
you actually get the lust of an animal. We're trying to rise above
I have seen, wait a minute,
kingdom.
I have eaten steaks that are marked kosher. Steaks.
Right.
There's blood in them. When you cook them.
No, there's no blood in them.
When you cook them, there's a brown substance that looks an awful lot like blood coming out of that meat.
Those things are soaked in brine for like 4 hours.
I don't think you're going to convert anybody here today, but I thank you, Abe. Our email address is my name. It's tom@blowmeuptom.com. Got that? tom@blowmeuptom.com.
Thank you, Jesus. It's the Tom Leykis Show.